Well, we are checking out La Palma Volcano, the last 3 days of earthquakes, the last 30 days of earthquakes, and finally check out how many earthquakes this thing has had in the past 90 days. We are talking hundreds. In one of the most incredible events to take place in a long time, the La Palma volcano erupting from September 19th, 2021, all the way to December 19th of 2021. And let's just say this was not your typical eruption. There was a lot of different issues with this volcano, including a lot of weird sightings. Some of them explainable, but some of them not so much. We spent a whole lot of time on this channel dissecting a lot of these situations, more specifically the seismic activity that was taking place on or around the island. And that's mainly what we're going to focus on today, as the island seems to be slowly waking up once again. In the meantime, on your screen, you're checking out two of the more popular anomalies that popped out of this volcano. Now, it's very possible we could be looking at some sort of drones. This second video here seems to be a little too fast to be a drone. That, of course, is just my opinion. I'll leave that up to you, and you can mess with the speed and go back and watch this a few different times to try to catch these things. Very, very interesting. We are going to go ahead and take a look at these new earthquakes on La Palma. Not only that, but I was able to get some information about the scientists who are dedicated to studying this volcano and the contradictive information they were giving to not only us, but also the people who lived on the island itself. My friends, it is very possible that we could be seeing another awakening of the La Palma volcano. I am very glad to see you all. We're going to dig into this right here, right now. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. It is Monday, March 28th, 2022. And for those of you that have followed my channel for a long time, you know that sometimes information on specific situations around the world is hard to come by. This includes data and specific facts that are conveniently left out, making it much harder to find out the exact truth about what's going on in a certain place, or even a specific topic as a whole. A perfect example of that is what you're looking at on your screen right now. You are checking out volcanodiscovery.com, a very popular earthquake and seismic activity site. We use this page all the time here on this channel, and many times we get the accurate data we need, and also some other data that we can sort out ourselves, just like we do for the meteor phenomena or sonic booms going on all over the country. Today, I want to show you guys a specific situation in which, if you were not looking in the exact right place, you may be missing out on very important data. And I'm talking specifically about the earthquake and seismic situation going on around the Canary Islands, and more specifically on La Palma itself. So what we're going to do really quick is show that point by first coming over to the USGS. Now, those of you that have been following me, we know that the USGS doesn't even post earthquakes that take place in the Canary Islands, and I'm not exactly sure why, but nonetheless, that's a fact. This is set for the last 30 days, all magnitudes, which brings up another point. We have a lot to talk about on the eastern half of the United States in an upcoming video. You're going to love that one. You are now once again looking at volcanodiscovery.com, also set to 30 days, all magnitudes, and all we can see here is a seismic event that took place far away from La Palma volcano itself, but still in the Canary Islands, a 3.1 earthquake 9 days ago. And now you are looking at a site called www.ign.es. This website we have used before in our research into La Palma last year, but what's great about this site is that it is specific to the seismic activity going on in the Canary Islands. We're going to go ahead and zoom in on this area so I can show you all exactly what's going on this island. And as you saw on the intro of the video, there is plenty of activity going on. You are now looking at the past 72 hours of earthquakes on La Palma, and what I want you to focus on is not just the little yellow dots, but more specifically these larger orange dots. These earthquakes are starting to reach into the 2.1, 2.2 range, and this is just the last 72 hours. I'm going to go ahead and click the last 15 days, and you can see that these things are spreading out all over the southern part of the island. We don't have any earthquakes up here in the north part over the last 15 days. All this energy is being focused on the southern half of the island, almost directly on the area that erupted last fall into the winter. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and click the 90-day setting, and you can quite literally see hundreds of earthquakes have taken place. Now, many of you may be saying, well, it's a volcano. They tend to have earthquakes all the time. I can assure you that this is a dramatic uptick in seismic activity in the last 3 months, which almost came to a screeching halt back in December when the volcano stopped erupting, took a few weeks of a break, and now we are seeing this activity rise once again. All right, and now that we have established that there is in fact a a lot of significant activity going on, I want to reference you to a few things. Obviously, we all remember the gridquake situation, where some people believe that man-made earthquakes were taking place on the island in this grid pattern you see on your screen. That is still being debated, but I want to reference a few things, and one of them is Mary Greeley's channel. She posted a video today about La Palma, and she brought up a few really good points, so I want to give her a shout out really quick, and in a nutshell, explain to you what she's saying in this video here. I will link this in the description as well. And as I said earlier, there is a bunch of contradictions that are being discovered based on what the scientists said at the time of the eruption and what they're saying now. Long story short, if you guys remember, while the peak of this volcanic activity was taking place on the island, scientists were telling people not to worry at all about the potential collapse of the island, or at least a huge chunk of it falling into the ocean, causing that major tsunami that has been studied for years. This was also in a video game. It's been talked about nonstop recently and also in the past before we even realized that this thing was going to blow up again. And something interesting that Mary caught is the fact that after this recent seismic activity swarm, the scientists are claiming that a system of fissures that opened during the last phase of the eruption may be responsible for the fact that a giant catastrophic landslide did not occur. Now pay attention to that. They are basically saying that the only reason this island did not collapse and cause that wave, or potential wave, is because these random fissures opened up, basically saving us and many other continents from that giant catastrophic landslide and ensuing tsunami. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a complete contradiction. They're basically saying that they were expecting this thing to collapse, at the same time telling the people on the Canary Islands and the surrounding continents to not be afraid. Well, it turns out they were very afraid, and now just over 3 months later, are kind of putting their foot in their mouths, saying that the fissures that opened up are what saved this from happening. If you really think about it, they're putting this information out now, basically saying they did not know that these fissures were even going to happen. You can't predict that type of stuff, and now it's being used as the reasoning towards why there was no collapse. I don't know about you, but that tells me that they were expecting a collapse the entire time. For those of you that remember this time period, there were many YouTubers and content creators fighting with each other over whether or not this was possible. In my opinion, and that is exactly what this is, just my opinion, the fact that we saw this in a video game years ago, and the fact that extremely in-depth studies have gone into this volcano and the potential for that catastrophe, absolutely means that not only was it possible then, it's very possible now. I am very interested in what you guys think about this situation. I want to know your opinions, even if they've changed over time. Leave them down in the comments section. If you have any information pertaining to this, whether it was a weird sighting around the volcano or more data that talks about the different potentials of what could happen, I would love to collect it and throw it in another video, as I'm sure this will not be the last that we're talking about La Palma. Let's not also forget that volcanoes are a hot topic over the past year, specifically in the last week. As you can see on your screen, volcanologists seek answers as island in Portugal's Azores keep shaking. This is a volcano that is very much of concern in the Portuguese islands, specifically that one right in the middle you see, with many earthquakes taking place. I'll be making a video on this as well, but take a look at this headline: Azores earthquake, locals flee Portuguese island after thousands of earthquakes raise fears that a volcano can erupt. We've been seeing this time and time again, not to mention the South Pacific Tonga volcano and a few others that are showing signs of activity. My friends, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you all have a great beginning to your week. Shout out to Canada, and I want to give a little shout out to my friend Matthew, who lost his first tooth today. That's a big deal. Good job, buddy. And with that said, I'm going to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all, and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.